Hi everybody. Hi. Let's see who's here. Hey Dippy, hey Maximilian, hey Novared. Novared was here first. Hey Mick, hey Kuro, hey Chaos Crew, hey Alex, hey Cam, hey HEAVENREND Song, hey Hood, hey Writing Wannabe, hey Kyo, what's going on? Triangle circle. What? Why is everyone? Why? What? Oh boy. Hello. Hi everybody. And boop. Hello. Ah, here I am. A little bigger than I used to be on this screen. So I'm gonna adjust. Hi everyone. Big Doc. Big Doc today. You guys get Big Doc today because today is a very, very special day. We're doing ASMR today. Big Doc energy. I don't know about Big Doc energy, but how am I? I'm doing good. I'm nervous. I'm nervous and I'm I think I've prepared as much as I possibly can for this, I think. But today is the day where I give you guys your redeem. I'm gonna come in real close here. I'm gonna come in super close. Like this. There we go. Hi, that's better. How's everybody doing today? This is gonna be a wind down stream, I think, for a lot of us. It's the weekend. It's finally the weekend. Fortunately, I'm only here for the swap, then I sleep on whatever happens. Well, I hope that today stream vibes are going to be less chaotic, more calming, more healing. So that's kind of the vibe I wanted for the stream today. You guys voted on Twitter and you guys said, I give you 3 options. I said, do you want a themed stream? Do you want a reading stream? Or do you want just like a general, like, I make noises of things that I'm able to get a hold of or things that I can find around the base stream? And you guys voted for a themed stream. So today I will be presenting you with a themed stream. I wrote it all out. I am so nervous about it. I have all this stuff that I've gathered to help me out. Horror themed for Friday the 13th? No, it's not horror themed. It's not horror themed in the slightest. Do you have a banana, dog? No, I don't have a banana. I do not have a banana. This is a non-cursed stream. I have written it. Thank you for the timeout on that. That was kind of weird, champ, not gonna lie. This is a non-cursed stream today. I've actually written out and prepared it to be not cursed. No bone saws, no nothing like that. Stream where you say Komodo is tall for 4 hours. I'm gonna need a lot more water if I'm gonna say Komodo is tall for 4 hours. Jesus. Okay, I guess it's better to let you guys get all your cursed energy out here and now. So I'm gonna have that redeem, that hydrate redeem. And let you guys get out all your cursed energy. Prescription to treat curse? No curse, just no curse. No curse today. Today is like I I have prepared a stream to heal all of your cursed energy. Even if it's infinite, maybe it'll heal a tiny little bit of it. So what I ended up doing was, once the results of the poll came in and I saw you guys wanted a themed stream, I sat down and I was like, okay, what can I put together? What can I, do to, fit in a themed stream? I sat down, I wrote it all out, and I got, everything I need, or everything I could find. 'Cause some stuff is just takes longer to arrive here. You can always mix cruelty squad style slurpcore. No. Get it all out now. Get it all out now. Get the cursed out. I want you guys to be comfy tonight. Tonight is comfy doc, not cursed doc. Comfy doc. So, I will preface before we start. I wanted to say, this is going to be like a medical style ASMR session. If you have any adverse reactions or if that makes you uncomfortable at all, I ask that you continue watching with, take a little bit of salt and continue watching at your own discretion. I don't plan on describing anything too graphic, anything, horrific. But I will be doing some medical. There will be some medical terminology used. There is going to be descriptions of medical procedure. So if any of that makes you uncomfortable, I ask that you continue watching at your own discretion. I'm eager to see Doc's findings results. I think I've opened up a heart's cow. I think I'm good. Do all comfy streams have disclaimers? Not all of them, Dusty, but I like to be respectful of other people's boundaries, and if there's any indication at all that something might not be comfortable for someone to listen to, I just want to, I want to be aware of that and, voice that I'm aware of that and this is what we're going to be doing, so they have the opportunity to step away. Is there a list of side effects? Quick scroll in this description. No, there's not a list of side effects. There will hopefully be no side effects from today's stream other than you wanting to watch more HEAVENREND. To be frank, I do know people that are really squeamish about medical stuff. And that's why I wanted to preface this, because I know it's not everyone's, cup of tea, and I would rather preface it and say, hey, step away if this isn't your thing, than have someone come in and be like, oh wait, this isn't good. Hey Sauce, what's going on? Side effects may include a sudden $90 charge to your credit card for 3 months of Tier 3. I mean, I will accept that instead of medical insurance. I will accept that instead of regular insurance. It's probably cheaper than most of the insurances you guys have too. Tier 3 subs work instead of insurance. I need a new doctor. Wow, Carroll. Wow. Sad. Sad doc. Sad doc. You take food stamps? Food stamps aren't insurance. So, medical insurance is for chumps. I'd rather bet that my body maintains itself. Oh no. Don't, please. Please don't. Please don't. please see a doctor. A doctor that you can actually, you know, go to and have them examine you and write you something and refer you for tests and all of that. Champ, thank you for the 3 months. Thank you, Champ. Thank you, thank you. Tier 3 comes with a free vivisection to harvest your... There will be no organ harvesting. There will be no organ harvesting. I do not need your organs. I don't want your organs. I don't want them. I mean, I'll take your heart though. I'll take your heart. You already have. Aww, that's very sweet. Almost too sweet. Should I check if you have diabetes? Unless you got a cyber heart, the best I can give you is a kidney. Do I want a kidney? No, I said I promised I wouldn't take your organs. Who's gonna get the most hearts? Komodo with Persona 5 or Doc with organ harvesting. I'm not going to harvest your organs. I'm not. I'm not going to. Take my... What am I supposed to do if you offer them freely to me? She lied as naturally as she breathed. I've gone over this with you before. I'm not going to harvest your organs from you. I'm not going to take them. If I'm going to harvest your organs, you will be offering them willingly to me. You will offer organs willingly to me. Otherwise, I will not take them. That is a promise. I'm gonna go and pull up my little thing now that I've prepared. That's not the correct one. I want this one. Okay. So, I'm going to walk you through what we're going to do today. So, this is going to be... This is more of a performance, I would say, or a little kind of like taste into what my doctor's experience with you would be. I literally have an outline in front of me and it says ASMR theme, a doctor's appointment with Doc. So this is, I want you to get it into your heads now. Like, just close your eyes and start imagining that I've gone and opened up a practice somewhere in New Guild. Where, I'll leave that up to your imagination. Could be somewhere near the park, somewhere near some busy restaurants, somewhere, you know, closer to the ocean. New Guild. It's my birth city. It's where I'm from, New Guild. It's in Westergoth. It's a city in Westergoth. It's where I'm from. It's where I grew up. And I thought I would open a practice there someday, but life took me elsewhere. So start imagining that. Imagine you have an appointment with Dr. Winters. And while you get into that headspace, I'm going to be right back. You're here. Let's get you checked in. It's good that I've caught you. My assistant's out for lunch. Here's some forms. I need you to fill them in before I can take you back. Here. Just fill these out and I'll be with you in a second. Yeah, sitting over there. Just take a seat over there. Any one of the chairs will do. Oh, yeah. Here. Something to hold your papers with. Oh. Do you need help filling them out? Typically, I don't help with that, but my assistant's not around, and it looks like you're gonna need some help. Here, let me. Your name. It's a good thing I've known you forever. Date of birth. Insurance numbers, that's something you're gonna have to figure out. I think we have your insurance information on the file, but it's fine. You can just fill it out later. Here. Let me take that. I'll take the pen too. Thanks. Let me input this in the computer and I will take you back in a second. Yeah. Come with me to the desk and get your insurance card out. I'm gonna need it for our computer system anyways. How have you been? Really? It's been a while since I've seen you. It's good to see you again, but it's always good when patients don't come in often. And it looks like you're all set. Let's take you to the back. Follow me. I'm gonna take your height and weight here. Please step here. Okay. Step on the scale, please. Just there. Step off now. All right. Now, if you could come over here, stand right here, heels against the wall, please. Straighten your back. Yep. Just like that. Straight as you can get it. Like a little puppet string pulling you up. Gets a more accurate height. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, just like that. Okay. Come back. Come on, come back here. One of my nurses has set up the room for us. Okay, let me pull up your chart here. patient name. Okay, now let's put your height and weight in there. Okay, perfect. It looks like it's been a while since you've had a physical. Do you mind if we get that out of the way first? Perfect. Now, how has everything been? Last time you were here, you were telling me about... Yes, yes. Okay, now, follow my finger. Follow my finger. Just how many fingers do I have up? Okay, how about now? Now? Here? Good. Follow the light. Okay. Eyes seem to be perfectly normal. Do you mind if I check your ears? Don't worry, it'll only be a second. Don't mind the clicking. It's just me turning on the light so I can see. Yep, that is one perfectly healthy eardrum. I'll check the other side now. Perfect. Okay, good eardrums. Now let's check your reflexes. I know, this is the part. This is the part everyone hates. This is the part everyone hates. But it's also kind of fun. Good, good reflex. Other side. Good. Good. Perfectly healthy reflexes. Put that in. Okay, next I'll check your tonsils and lymph nodes. Just head up a tiny bit for me, please. Thank you. Does this hurt at all? It doesn't feel swollen, but now open your mouth. Ah, go ah. Good. Good. Okay. I don't see any abnormalities. So that will conclude your physical. Now, is there anything that's been bothering you? Anything that's come up? Anything you wanted to talk to me about? Oh, I see. Okay. And how long has this been going on for? Uh-huh. I see. Always? Really? You've never mentioned it before. Why is that? Why now? Why now are you bringing this to my attention? You've always been a bit irresponsible. That is true. But I guess I can't be angry about you seeking medical help when you clearly need it. So, do you mind if I do some tests? Perfect. I will put in the order here then. Okay. Let's add some this. Let's check this level. Okay. Then your symptoms. I'm going to, based on what you've told me, I'm going to order this. Good thing is we can get this done today. So, yeah, office is right next door. I can actually, they might be closed. Shoot. Normally I don't do this, but if they're closed, let me call over there for a second. Let me give them a call. Hello, yes, I have a patient that needs labs today. Is there any... Oh, okay, you are closed. I still have my permissions over there, right? Yeah? Okay, great. Do you mind if I... Perfect. Thank you. Don't worry about that. I will put everything back just as I found it. Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, yeah. Normally this doesn't happen. A lot of things out of the norm today. Assistant on lunch, phlebotomist not in the lab. Normally I would just send you over next door, you'd get your labs drawn, and we'd be on our way. But phlebotomist is out to lunch, so I guess I will be the one drawing your blood today. Follow me. I wish you'd brought this to me sooner, but I know things have probably been hectic, just like you said. But at least you're getting it treated. Take a seat over there, and I will print out the labs we need. Secrets from a doctor? You're gonna keep secrets from me? Come on. We know each other better than that. Gonna pull up your file here. Yes, I know who they are. Sometimes the system is so finicky, I have to pull up your profile every single time. Yes, I am sure that I have the correct patient with me. Look, I know you like your secrets, but secrets from a doctor, I've told you about HIPAA before, right? Anything that, anything you tell me, I have to keep between us. Doctor-patient privilege, at least medical. I've sworn an oath to do no harm. So it varies practice by practice, of course, but I'm not allowed to disclose any of your medical information to anyone that you haven't given me permission to disclose it to. I have a Hippocratic oath, and there are rights that protect you. So you don't have to worry about secrets. I am here to help you feel better. Take a deep breath. Have you had anything to eat or drink today? I don't believe any of these are fasting orders. So, none of these are fasting orders, which is good. Okay. I'm going to step away for 1 second and grab these orders. Just relax. Is there anything I can get you? Some water, some juice, something? While I get these printed out. Great. Okay. I will be right back. There we are. Everything is printed out and ready to go. Just gotta mark a few things here. Make sure I have the right vials. Date, yes. There we go. Okay. Can you roll up your sleeve for me, please? There we go. Okay, let's take a look. You've got some nice veins. I've seen a lot of patients come in and out with all different types of veins. Some look really nice. They aren't. Others look like nothing at all. But we'll see what yours look like. Okay. I'm going to use this. Honestly, it's the worst part. It's an elastic band. It's going to go over here. Yep, right there. It's going to be super tight. Tight. Yep, okay. Now can you squeeze your hand? Make a fist for me. And just squeeze. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release for me. There you go. That will make the veins pop. There you go. Okay. Now I'm just going to take this swab. It's an alcohol swab. It'll sterilize the area. There. Okay. Now it's going to be a quick pinch. 1, 2. Okay, breathe. Keep breathing. Come on. Breathe. There you go. Okay. There we go. Good. Okay. 2 more vials. Okay, keep breathing for me. Good. Okay. I'll put this next vial on. Okay. Good. Good. You're doing really well. You're doing super well. Okay. Just keep breathing. 1 more vial. 1 more. Okay. There. There. There you go. Okay. I'm going to release this now. Okay. There. See, I told you it was the worst part. The elastic's the worst part. Okay, that's the last vial. That's the last one I need. Okay, I'm going to take it out now. Just put some pressure here. 1, 2. Okay, needle's out. You did great. Now, gonna put the needle down. Can you hold pressure on this for me? There. You did great. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this off and we're gonna get you some new gauze and tape that up for you. Okay. There. Tape's, honestly, tape is, I said the elastic was the worst part. It's the tape. Try getting this off in, 20 minutes. Once it's clotted. You'll be wishing you'd stayed with the needle. So, I'm gonna send this off. It's gonna get tested. We have this really cool new device. It's gonna be able to give me some rapid test results on your blood. But in the meantime, I'm going to have you sit in the waiting room. Yeah. Yeah, come on. Do you feel dizzy at all? Come on, up to your feet. A lot of people feel dizzy after they get their blood drawn. I'm one of them. Yeah, I can help you back to the waiting room. It's no problem. Just lean on my shoulder. There you go. Actually, do you need somewhere to lay down? You might be more comfortable. Yeah, I'll just bring you back to the exam room. Okay, there you go. It's not the most comfortable setup by any means, but it does give you a place to lie down. Now, get some rest. I'll try and find you some cookies or some juice. They probably have some. Somewhere. Yeah. We should have some somewhere. If not, I will take some from my lunch and give it to you. Now, close your eyes. I'm going to dim the lights and I will go find you a snack. So I will be right back. Well, I was able to find, ta-da, a snack and some juice for you. Now, let's get this open for you. There you go. Some Teddy Grahams. OJ or apple juice? I found some apple juice for you. Orange juice I normally prefer, but there you go. Drink up. It should help you feel better. Any better? The lightheadedness should fade in a second once your body's had a chance to kind of process the sugars and the calories in that. So, also, I got some of your test results while I was back. While I was back there, quick facts came in, so I'm gonna go over those with you now while you eat. Okay, it says here you are extremely dehydrated. So I suspected from your symptoms, from the way you react to the blood test. Honestly, I got lucky finding that vein. If you're as dehydrated as this test says you are, then we could have been stuck back there for a while. So, I'm going to put in an order for a fluid bolus here to help you, and I'm going to go and discuss. I'm going to print out some paperwork and discuss your options with you. So let me do that now. There we go. Okay. So I can do the infusion here. You won't have to go to a specialty clinic or the hospital for this. Thankfully, we have everything set up. I can start the IV for you. It's been a while, so... Okay. Just documenting here in your chart the findings, and there we go. Oh, do you want more apple juice? Normally, since you're so dehydrated, I would refuse, but since we're giving you some fluids anyway. Don't mind the cars outside. There you go. Now let's take you back to the infusion room. get you a little bit more comfortable there. I can't believe you're this dehydrated. Seriously, have you not been having any water? Not even, fruits, vegetables. Whiskey, coffee, and cola do not count as a proper source of hydration. This is why you're feeling, well, this is why you're feeling pretty horrible. So, here we are. Get comfortable, and I will get everything I need to start the IV and get the fluids going. If you need anything, call button's right there. There we are. Okay. Similar to the blood test we just did. I'm gonna clean the area, I'm gonna look around. I'm not gonna do anything until I think I have a good spot. So, just be patient with me. There we go. Okay. I think I have a good spot here, but I'm gonna keep looking around. It's a wonder to me how you got this dehydrated. I've never seen results like this. How did you manage it? Okay. Keep talking about that. I think I found a really good spot. So I'm gonna clean the area here. It's gonna be a little cold. Keep breathing. 1, 2, big pinch. Big pinch, yes, yep, good job, good job. Almost there, almost. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. I don't have it, needles coming out. Sorry about that. You are extremely dehydrated. It's a wonder I got the blood that I did. Okay. Here's some tape. We're going to tape that right up for you. And I'm going to try one more time. I don't want to put you through all this. I'm going to do one more. There was one more spot. I'll take a look at it again. Okay. Again, some cold. Some cold. It's going to be a little cold. Okay. 1, 2, big pinch. There we go. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Needle's coming out. Tube is in. Good job. Good job. Okay, let me tape that up for you. We want it to hold. I don't think I'd be able to place another one if I'm honest. We would have to get someone more equipped, better equipped. A little bit more tape. I do not want to lose this. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to hang the fluids now. I think the pumps are locked. And we don't need a pump. Funny thing about the heart, it will act as a natural pump. So, you're gonna sit back here with me for a bit. I'll monitor you, see how you're feeling. And hopefully by the time the fluid bolus infuses, you'll be feeling a lot better. What have you been up to? I know you've been telling me throughout the entire session, but I feel like you haven't been telling me everything. I won't press if you don't want me to, but there has to be a reason you've gotten this dehydrated. You aren't taking care of yourself, and it worries me. I'm your doctor. I'm the one you come to when you're not feeling well. But there are preventable ways to take care of yourself, ways that will prevent you from getting, well, like this. I'm gonna go over some options with you. It's everything that you're feeling is valid, but taking care of yourself will help, even if it's the tiniest little bit. It's not going to cure what you're feeling. You might need to see another specialist for that, and I am happy to recommend you to someone. But let's get you back on your feet first. I have a pamphlet here for you. Right here. There we go. Best way to keep hydrated. Drink water. It is the best source of hydration that you're going to get. I know you've been a fan of coffee and tea and whiskey and cola and everything else, but water is your best source of hydration. Now, when you get home, I want you to keep track for me, just for a week, how much water you think you're drinking, or when you are drinking some water. I want you to write down a time for me and how much water you're drinking. You'd be surprised at how little you're actually drinking over the course of the day. So, once we have that, we can get a baseline, for how much you're drinking per day. And from there, we can slowly increase it. There's the minimum goal I want to aim for with you is 64 ounces of water per day to start. That is typically that is the amount of water that a small human female needs. From there, we can increase your water intake. And it might seem hard at first, but we can start to figure out how much water you need and what kind of, how you would enjoy water, even. You can try it with ice, no ice. You can have it at room temperature, you can have it cold. Some of my colleagues actually infuse their water with fruit. And I'll be honest with you, I think it tastes like it's like a lemon breathed on the water, but to each their own. Personally, I like cold water without ice. So that's what I'm going to recommend to you. I'll even write you a prescription, even though it's not technically a medication. But I think you'll do best with the reminder. Okay. So step 1 is going to be to figure out your baseline hydration. Step 2 is going to be aim for 64 ounces per day. How you aim for that is up to you. You can get a water bottle. A lot of people I know, they will fill jugs up and do markings to do time. You need to have this amount of water by this time, and then this, until the jug is empty, and then they'll refill it. And then third, figure out what kind of water you like. The more you enjoy your water, the more you can drink, I find. But of course, be careful. As with anything, take your time with drinking water. Too much of it at once, or too cold, too extreme, it will give you a stomach ache. I have definitely had a stomach ache from water before. And finally, if you have any questions, here is my number. It will leave a voicemail on my personal line, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Just try to drink more water, please. Okay. It looks like the infusion is almost finished. Okay. There we go. Yep. So I'm just gonna do a saline flush here, and we'll take out your IV. Okay. Again, tape is the worst part. There we go. Okay. It looks like you are all set. So, follow me, grab your things, and let's get you checked out. How are you feeling after that? Okay, I'm gonna pull up your chart here. And I'm gonna set you up for an appointment again. What date works best for you? Okay. I have a 4 p.m. at that time. I have a 9 p.m. at that time. I have an 11 a.m. the next day. What's going to be the best day for you? No weekends. No weekends. I am not in the office on the weekends. Okay. Yeah. I have that availability, so I will put you down for an appointment with me, a follow-up on... Okay. There we go. It was nice to see you again, even if you've given me quite a bit of trouble. So, I will see you. Yes. Do you need an appointment card? Alright. Here is your appointment card. And that is going to end our visit for today. So, hi! Hi, everybody. How was that? Whew. Nicely done. Thank you, guys. I feel personally attacked. As you should. As you should. It was pretty good. Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. Okay, so I don't want to end stream quite yet. So I am gonna do... Alice, we're gonna do a reading. Surprise Tonsils? No, I promised you a full ASMR stream. We're gonna get you a full ASMR stream. I wasn't there the whole time, but it felt eerily similar to my actual experiences with both nurses and doctor's office. I hope it was a good thing. I hope it helped relax you a little bit. I hope it helped relax you a little bit. Spitting up blood isn't good. Spitting up blood isn't good, Alex. You with the blood draw spiel down 100%. That's not good. Well, even if you didn't like the medical segment, I hope you'll like this next segment, which is going to be a reading of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I think, which is public domain. It is public domain, so I won't get in trouble for it. I'm going to read as much as I'm able to. I don't know if I'll be able to finish the entire book today, but we might. It might be a long stream. Also, let me get the apple juice. And I actually got apple juice for you guys, and all the there's apple juice sitting on my desk, so I want to make sure I don't knock it over. How big's the book? It's an online version that I'll be reading from, so I don't really know in terms of speaking how, like, pages wise, or, but I'm sure someone could Google it. I kind of expected the small juice boxes, not gonna lie. No, we have glasses. We have glasses here. We are a fancy doctor's office. But I'm going to change the settings on my mic again, and we will dive back into the ASMR. ASMR reading of Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. There we go. Okay. Here we are. Chapter 1. Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank, and of having nothing to do. Once or twice, she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So she was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it was so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself, "Oh dear, oh dear, I shall be late." When she thought it over afterwards, it occurred to her that she ought to have wondered at this, but at the time it all seemed quite natural. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it, and burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it, and fortunately was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the bridge, under the hedge. In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was able to get out again. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way, and then dipped down suddenly, so suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down a very deep well. Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next. First, she tried to look down and make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung up upon pegs. She took down a jar from one of the shelves as she passed. It was labeled Orange Marmalade, but to her great disappointment, it was empty. She did not like to drop the jar for fear of killing somebody underneath, so she managed to put it in one of the cupboards as she fell past. Well, thought Alice to herself, after such a fall as this, I shall think nothing of tumbling downstairs. How brave they'll all think of me at home. Why, I wouldn't say anything about it, even if I fell off the top of the house, which was very likely true. Down, down, down. Would the fall never come to an end? I wonder how many miles I've fallen by this time, she said aloud. I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see. That would be 4,000 miles down, I think. For you see, Alice had learnt several things in this sort in her lessons in the schoolroom. And though this was not a very good opportunity for showing off her knowledge, as there was no one to listen to her, still, it was good practice to say it over. Yes, that's about the right distance. But then, I wonder what latitude or longitude I've got to. Alice had no idea what latitude was, or longitude either, but thought they were very nice grand words to say. Presently, she began again. I wonder if I shall fall right through the earth. How funny it'll seem to come out among the people that walk with their heads downward. The antipathers, I think. She was rather glad there was no one listening this time, as it didn't sound at all like the right word. But I shall have to ask them what the name of the country is, you know. Please, ma'am, is this New Zealand or Australia? And she tried to curtsy as she spoke. Fancy curtsying as you're falling through the air. Do you think you can manage it? And what an ignorant little girl she'll think me for asking. No, it'll never do to ask. Perhaps I shall see it written up somewhere. Down, down, down. There was nothing else to do, so Alice soon began talking again. Dinah'll miss me very much tonight, I should think. Dinah was the cat. I hope they'll remember the saucer of milk at tea time. Dinah, my dear, I wish you were here with me. There are no mice in the air, I'm afraid, but you might catch a bat, and that's very like a mouse, you know? But do cats eat bats, I wonder? And here Alice began to get rather sleepy, and went on saying to herself in a dreamy sort of way, do cats eat bats? Do cats eat bats? And sometimes, do bats eat cats? For you see, as she couldn't answer either question, it didn't much matter which way she put it. She felt that she was dozing off, and had begun to dream that she was walking hand in hand with Dinah, and saying to her very earnestly, Now, Dinah, tell me the truth. Did you ever eat a bat? And suddenly, thump, thump, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves, and the fall was over. Alice was not a bit hurt, and she jumped up on her feet in a moment. She looked up, but it was all dark overhead. Before her was another long passage, and the white rabbit was still in sight, hurrying down it. There was not a moment to be lost. Away went Alice like the wind, and was just in time to hear it say as it turned a corner, Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting! She was close behind it when she turned the corner, but the rabbit was no longer to be seen. She found herself in a long, low hall, which was lit up by a row of lamps hanging from the roof. There were doors all round the hall, but they were all locked, and when Alice had been all the way down one side and up the other, trying every door, she walked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever to get out again. Suddenly she came upon a little three-legged table, all made of solid glass. There was nothing on it except a tiny golden key, and Alice's first thought was that it might belong to one of the doors of the hall, but alas, either the locks were too large or the key was too small, but at any rate it would not open any of them. However, on the second time round, she came upon a low curtain she had not noticed before, and behind it was a little door about 15 inches high. She tried the little golden key in the lock, and to her great delight, it fit. Alice opened the door and found that it led into a small passage, not much larger than a rat hole. She knelt down and looked along the passage into the loveliest garden you'd ever seen. How she longed to get out of that dark hall and wander about among those beds of bright flowers and those cool fountains, but she could not even get her head through the doorway. And even if my head would go through, thought poor Alice, it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could shut up like a telescope. I think I could, if I only knew how to begin. For you see, so many out of the way things had happened lately, that Alice had begun to think that very few things indeed were really impossible. There seemed to be no use in waiting by the little door, so she went back to the table, half hoping she might find another key on it, or at any rate, a book of rules for shutting people up like telescopes. This time she found a little bottle on it, which certainly was not here before, said Alice. And round the neck of the bottle was a paper label with the words, "Drink me," beautifully printed on it in large letters. It was all very well to say "drink me," but the wise little Alice was not going to do that in a hurry. "No, I'll look first," she said, "and see whether it's marked poison or not." For she had read several nice little histories about children who had got burnt and eaten up by wild beasts and other unpleasant things, all because they would not remember the simple rules their friends had taught them, such as that a red-hot poker will burn you if you hold it too long, and that if you cut your finger very deeply with a knife, it usually bleeds. And she had never forgotten that if you drink much from a bottle marked poison, it is almost certain to disagree with you, sooner or later. However, this bottle was not marked poison, so Alice ventured to taste it, and finding it very nice, it had, in fact, a sort of mixed flavor of cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and hot buttered toast. She very soon finished it off. "What a curious feeling," said Alice. "I must be shutting up like a telescope." And so it was indeed. She was now only 10 inches high, and her face brightened up at the thought that she was now the right size for going through the little door in that lovely garden. First, however, she waited for a few minutes to see if she was going to shrink any further. She felt a little nervous about doing this, for it might end, you know, said Alice to herself, in my going out altogether, like a candle. I wonder what I should be like then. And she tried to fancy what the flame of a candle is like after the candle is blown out, for she could not remember ever having seen such a thing. After a while, finding that nothing more happened, she decided on going into the garden at once, but alas for poor Alice! When she got to the door, she found she had forgotten the little golden key, and when she went back to the table for it, she found she could not possibly reach it. She could see it quite plainly through the glass, and when she tried her best to climb up one of the legs of the table, but it was too slippery. And when she had tired herself out with trying, the poor little thing sat down and cried. "Come, there's no use in crying like that," said Alice to herself, rather sharply. "I advise you to leave off this minute." She generally gave herself very good advice, though she very seldomly followed it. And sometimes she scolded herself so severely as to bring tears into her eyes, and once she remembered trying to box her own ears for having cheated herself in a game of croquet she was playing against herself, for this curious child was very fond of pretending to be two people. But it's no use now, thought poor Alice, to pretend to be two people. Why, there's hardly enough of me left to make one respectable person. Soon, her eye fell on a little glass box that was lying under the table. She opened it and found in it a very small cake, on which the words "Eat me" were beautifully marked in currants. "Well, I'll eat it," said Alice. "And if it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door. So either way I'll get into the garden, and I don't care which happens." She ate a little bit and said anxiously to herself, "Which way? Which way?" holding her hand on the top of her head to feel which way it was growing, and she was quite surprised to find that she remained the same size, to be sure. This generally happens when one eats cake, but Alice had gotten so much into the way of expecting nothing but out of the way things to happen that it seemed quite dull and stupid for life to go on in the common way. So she set to work and very soon finished off the cake. Chapter 2. The Pool of Tears. "Curiouser and curiouser," cried Alice. She was so much surprised that for a moment she quite forgot how to speak good English. "Now I'm opening out like the largest telescope that ever was. Goodbye, feet." For when she looked down at her feet, they seemed to be almost out of sight. They were getting so far off. "Oh, my poor little feet. I wonder who will put on your shoes and stockings for you now, dears. I'm sure I shan't be able. I shall be a great deal too far off to trouble myself about you. You must manage the best way you can, but I must be kind to them," thought Alice. "Or perhaps they won't walk the way I want to go. Let me see. I'll give them a new pair of boots every Christmas." And she went on planning to herself how she would manage it. They must go by the carrier, she thought. And how funny it'll seem, sending presents to one's own feet. And how odd the directions will look. Alice's right foot, hearthrug near the fender, with Alice's love. Oh dear, what nonsense I'm talking. Just then her head struck against the roof of the hall. In fact, she was now more than 9 feet high, and she at once took up the little golden key and hurried off to the garden door. Poor Alice! It was as much as she could do, lying down on one side, to look through into the garden with one eye, but to get through was more hopeless than ever. She sat down and began to cry again. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, said Alice. A great girl like you, she might well say this, to go on crying in this way. Stop this moment, I tell you. But she went on all the same, shedding gallons of tears until there was a large pool around her, about 4 inches deep and reaching half down the hall. After a time, she heard a little pattering of feet in the distance, and she hastily dried her eyes to see what was coming. It was the White Rabbit returning, splendidly dressed, with a pair of white kid gloves on one hand and a large fan in the other. He came trotting along in a great hurry, muttering to himself as he came. Oh, the Duchess, oh, won't she be savage if I've kept her waiting? Alice felt so desperate that she was ready to ask help of anyone, so when the rabbit came near her, she began in a low, timid voice. If you please, sir. The rabbit started violently, dropping the white kid gloves and the fan, and scurried away into the darkness as hard as he could go. Alice took up the fan and the gloves, and as the hall was very hot, she kept fanning herself all the time she went on talking. Dear, dear, how queer everything is today. And yesterday things went on just as usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. Was I the same when I got up this morning? I almost think I can remember feeling a little different. But if I'm not the same, the next question is, who in the world am I? Ah, that's the great puzzle. And she began thinking over all the children she knew that were the same age as herself, to see if she could have been changed into any of them. "I'm sure I'm not Ada," she said, "for her hair goes in such long ringlets, and mine doesn't go in ringlets at all. And I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows very little. Besides, she's she and I'm I, and oh dear, how puzzling it all is. I'll try if I know all the things I used to know. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7 is... Oh dear. I shall never get to 20 at this rate. However, the multiplication table doesn't signify. Let's try geography. London is the capital of Paris. Paris is the capital of Rome. And Rome... No, that's all wrong, I'm certain. I must have been changed for Mabel. I'll try and say, how doth the little... And she crossed her hands on her lap as if she were saying lessons, and began to repeat it, but her voice sounded hoarse and strange, and the words did not come the same as they used to do. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws, and welcome little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. I'm sure those are not the right words, said poor Alice, and her eyes filled with tears again as she went on. I must be Mabel after all, and I shall have to go and live in that poky little house, and have next to no toys to play with, and oh, ever so many lessons to learn. No, I've made up my mind about it. If I'm Mabel, I'll stay down here. It'll be no use their putting their heads down and saying, "Come up again, dear." I shall only look up and say, "Who am I then?" Tell me that first, and then, if I like being that person, I'll come up. If not, I'll stay down here till I'm somebody else. But oh dear, cried Alice with a sudden burst of tears. I do wish they would put their heads down. I'm so very tired of being all alone here. As she said this, she looked down at her hands and was surprised to see that she had put on one of the rabbit's little white kid gloves while she was talking. How can I have done that? She thought. I must be growing small again. She got up and went to the table to measure herself by, and found that, as nearly as she could guess, she was now about 2 feet high and was going on shrinking rapidly. She soon found out that the cause of this was the fan she was holding, and she dropped it hastily just in time to avoid shrinking away altogether. That was a narrow escape, said Alice, a good deal frightened at the sudden change, but very glad to find herself still in existence. And now for the garden. And she ran with all the speed back to the little door, but alas, the little door was shut again, and the little golden key was lying on the glass table as before. And things are worse than ever, thought the poor child. For I never was so small as this before, never, and I declare it's too bad that it is. And as she said those words, her foot slipped, and in another moment, splash! She was up to her chin in salt water. Her first idea was that she had somehow fallen into the sea. And, in that case, I can go back by railway, she said to herself. Alice had been to the seaside once in her life, and had come to the general conclusion that wherever you go to on the English coast, you find a number of bathing machines in the sea, some children digging in the sand with wooden spades, then a row of lodging houses, and behind them, a railway station. However, she soon made out that she was in the pool of tears which she had wept when she was 9 feet high. I wish I hadn't cried so much, said Alice, as she swam about, trying to find her way out. I shall be punished for it now, I suppose, by being drowned in my own tears. That will be a queer thing for sure. However, everything is queer today. Just then she heard some splashing about in the pool a little way off, and she swam near to make out what it was, At first, she thought it must be a walrus or a hippopotamus, but then she remembered how small she was now, and she soon made out that it was only a mouse that had slipped in like herself. Would it be of any use now, thought Alice, to speak to this mouse? Everything is so out of the way down here that I should think very like it can talk. At any rate, there's no harm in trying. So she began. Oh, mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I'm very tired of swimming here. Oh, mouse. Alice thought this must be the right way of speaking to a mouse. She had never done such a thing before, but she remembered having seen in her brother's Latin grammar, a mouse of a mouse to a mouse, a mouse, a mouse. The mouse looked at her rather inquisitively and seemed to her to wink with one of its little eyes, but it said nothing. Perhaps it doesn't understand English, thought Alice. I dare say it's a French mouse, come over with William the Conqueror. For, with all her knowledge of history, Alice had no very clear notion how long ago anything had happened. So she began again. Oui, ma chatte, which was the first sentence in her French lesson book. The mouse gave a sudden leap out of the water and seemed to quiver all over with fright. Oh, I beg your pardon, cried Alice hastily, afraid that she had hurt the poor animal's feelings. I quite forgot you didn't like cats. Not like cats, cried the mouse in a shrill, passionate voice. Would you like cats if you were me? Well, perhaps not, Alice said in a soothing tone. Don't be angry about it, and yet I wish I could show you our cat Dinah. I think you'd take a fancy to cats if you could only see her. She is such a dear, quiet thing, Alice went on, half to herself, as she swam lazily about in the pool. And she sits purring so nicely by the fire, licking her paws and washing her face. And she is such a nice, soft thing to nurse. And she's such a capital one for catching mice. Oh, I beg your pardon, cried Alice again, for this time the mouse was bristling all over, and she felt certain it must be really offended. We won't talk about her any more if you'd rather not. We indeed, cried the mouse, who was trembling down to the end of his tail. As if I would talk on such a subject. Our family always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear the name again. I won't indeed, said Alice in a great hurry to change the subject of conversation. Are you fond of dogs? The mouse did not answer, so Alice went on eagerly. There is such a nice little dog near our house. I should like to show you. A little bright-eyed terrier, you know, with oh, such long curly brown hair. And it'll fetch things when you throw them. And it'll sit up and beg for its dinner and all sorts of things. I can't remember half of them. And it belongs to a farmer, you know, and he says it's so useful it's worth £100. He says it kills all the rats and... Oh dear, cried Alice in a sorrowful tone. I'm afraid I've offended it again. For the mouse was swimming away from her as hard as it could go, and making quite a commotion in the pool as it went. So she called after it, Mouse dear, do come back again, and we won't talk about cats or dogs either if you don't like them. When the mouse heard this, it turned round and swam slowly back to her. Its face was quite pale, with passion, Alice thought, and it said in a low, trembling voice, Let us get to the shore, and then I'll tell you my history, and you'll understand why I hate cats and dogs. It was high time to go, for the pool was getting quite crowded with the birds and animals that had fallen into it. There were a duck and a dodo and a lory and an eaglet and several other curious creatures. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam to the shore. I'm gonna take a little water break here, so I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. I had, like I said, it was a little water break. So I think I'm going to read one more chapter and then we'll put Alice away for the night. So this is going to be chapter 3, A Caucus Race and a Long Tail. They were indeed a queer-looking party that assembled on the bank. The birds with draggled feathers, the animals with their fur clinging close to them, and all dripping wet, cross, and uncomfortable. The first question, of course, was how to get dry again. They had a consultation about this, and after a few minutes it seemed quite natural to Alice to find herself talking familiarly with them, as if she had known them all her life. Indeed, she had quite a long argument with the Lorry, who at last turned sulky and would only say, "I'm older than you, and must know better." And this Alice would not allow without knowing how old it was, and as the Lorry positively refused to tell its age, there was no more to be said. At last, the mouse, who seemed to be a person of authority among them, called out, "Sit down, all of you, and listen to me. I'll soon make you dry enough." They all sat down at once in a large ring, with the mouse in the middle. Alice kept her eyes anxiously fixed on it, for she felt sure she would catch a bad cold if she did not get dry very well soon. Said the mouse with an important air. "Are you all ready? This is the driest thing I know. Silence all around, if you please." William the Conqueror, whose cause was favored by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders, and had been of late much accustomed to usurpation and conquest. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria. "Ugh," said the Lorry with a shiver. "I beg your pardon," said the mouse, frowning, but very politely. "Did you speak?" "Not I," said the Lorry hastily. "I thought you did," said the mouse, frowning. "I proceed. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria, declared for him, and even Stigand, the patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury, found it advisable." "Found what?" said the duck. "Found it," the mouse replied rather crossly. "Of course you know what it means." "I know what it means well enough when I find a thing," said the duck. "It's generally a frog or a worm." "The question is, what did the Archbishop find?" The mouse did not notice this question, but hurriedly went on. "Found it advisable to go with Edgar Atheling to meet William and offer him the crown. William's conduct at first was moderate, but the insolence of his Normans— How are you getting on now, my dear?" it continued, turning to Alice as it spoke. "As wet as ever," said Alice in a melancholy tone. "It doesn't seem to dry me at all." "In that case," said the dodo, solemnly rising to its feet, "I move that the meeting adjourn for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies." "Speak English," said the eaglet. "I don't know the meaning of half those long words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either." and the eaglet bent down its head to hide a smile. Some of the other birds tittered audibly. "What I was going to say," said the dodo in an offended tone, "was that the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus race." "What is a caucus race?" said Alice. Not that she wanted much to know, but the dodo had paused as if it thought that somebody ought to speak, and no one else seemed inclined to say anything. "Why," said the dodo, "the best way to explain is to do it. And as you might like to try the thing for yourself some winter day, I will tell you how the dodo managed it. First, it marked out a race course in a sort of circle. The exact shape doesn't matter, it said. And then, all the party were placed along the course, here and there. There was no 1, 2, 3, and away, but they began running when they liked, and left off when they liked, so that it was not easy to know when the race was over. However, when they had been running half an hour or so, and were quite dry again, the dodo suddenly called out, 'The race is over.' And they all crowded round it, panting and asking, 'But who has won?' This question the dodo could not answer without a great deal of thought, and it sat for a long time with one finger pressed upon its forehead, the position in which you usually see Shakespeare in the pictures of him, while the rest waited in silence. At last the dodo said, 'Everybody has won, and all must have prizes.' 'But who is to give the prizes?' quite a chorus of voices asked. 'Why, she, of course,' said the dodo, pointing to Alice with one finger, and the whole party at once crowded round her, calling out in a confused way, 'Prizes! Prizes!' Alice had no idea what to do, and in despair she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out a box of comfits. Luckily, the salt water had not gotten into it, and handed them round as prizes. There was exactly one apiece, all around. 'But she must have a prize herself, you know,' said the mouse. 'Of course,' the dodo replied very gravely. 'What else have you got in your pocket?' he went on, turning to Alice. 'Only a thimble,' said Alice sadly. 'Hand it over here,' said the dodo. Then they all crowded round her once more, while the dodo solemnly presented the thimble, saying, 'We beg your acceptance of this elegant thimble.' And when it had finished this short speech, they all cheered. Alice thought the whole thing very absurd, but they all looked so grave that she did not dare to laugh. And as she could not think of anything to say, she simply bowed and took the thimble, looking as solemn as she could. The next thing was to eat the comfits. This caused some noise and confusion, as the large birds complained that they could not taste theirs, and the smaller ones choked and had to be patted on the back. However, it was over at last, and they sat down again in a ring and begged the mouse to tell them something more. The next thing was to eat... "You promised to tell me your history, you know," said Alice. "And why is it you hate C&D?" she added in a whisper, half afraid that it would be offended again. "Mine is a long and sad tale," said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. "It is a long tale, certainly," said Alice, looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail. "But why do you call it sad?" And she kept puzzling about it while the mouse was speaking, so that her idea of the tale was something like this. Fury said to a mouse that he'd met in the house, "Let us both go to the law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial, for really this morning I've nothing to do." Said the mouse to the cur, "Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath." "I'll be judge, I'll be jury," said cunning old Fury. "I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death." "You are not attending," said the mouse to Alice severely. "What are you thinking of?" "I beg your pardon," said Alice very humbly. "You had got to the fifth bend, I think?" I had not, cried the mouse, sharply and very angrily. A knot, said Alice, always ready to make herself useful, looking anxiously about her. Oh, do let me help undo it. I shall do nothing of the sort, said the mouse, getting up and walking away. You insult me by talking such nonsense. I didn't mean it, pleaded poor Alice, but you're so easily offended, you know. The mouse only growled in reply. Please come back and finish your story, Alice called after it, and the others all joined in a chorus. Yes, please do. But the mouse only shook its head impatiently and walked a little quicker. What a pity it wouldn't say, sighed the Lory, as soon as it was quite out of sight, and an old crab took the opportunity of saying to her daughter, Ah, my dear, let this be a lesson you never lose your temper. Hold your tongue, Ma, said the young crab, a little snappishly. You're enough to try the patience of an oyster. I wish I had our Dinah here, I know I do, said Alice aloud, addressing nobody in particular. She'd soon fetch it back. And who is Dinah, if I might venture to ask the question, said the Lory. Alice replied eagerly, for she was always ready to talk about her pet. Dinah's our cat, and she's such a capital one for catching mice, you can't think. And oh, I wish you could see her after the birds. Why, she'll eat a little bird as soon as look at it. This speech caused a remarkable sensation among the party. Some of the birds hurried off at once. One old magpie began wrapping itself up very carefully, remarking, I really must be getting home. The night air doesn't suit my throat. And a canary called out in a trembling voice to its children, Come away, my dears, it's high time you were all in bed. On various pretexts, they all moved off, and Alice was soon left alone. I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah, she said to herself in a melancholy tone. Nobody seems to like her down here, and I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my dear Dinah, I wonder if I shall ever see you any more. And here poor Alice began to cry again, for she felt very lonely and low-spirited. In a little while, however, she again heard a little pattering of footsteps in the distance, and she looked up eagerly, half hoping the mouse had changed his mind and was coming back to finish his story. Okay, so I'm going to leave you at chapter 4 here, and if I do another ASMR stream, we can pick back up at chapter 4 of Alice, but that is gonna be it for me for the night. That was dope, that was great. Please more reading with talk in the future. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad. Can't wait to listen to the VOD while I'm in bed. I hope it's healing, I hope it's soothing for you guys. I promised a healing type stream, and I hope I delivered. So I'm gonna head off for the night, but thank you guys for coming to my little ASMR stream. So tomorrow I have my collab with KM. We're gonna be playing We Were Here Too. And then Sunday, the new schedule will go up. There's not gonna be a stream on Sunday for me, but new schedule. No, that's right, the angriest and loudest VTuber we can find. Thank you guys. By the way, I'm gonna Dermathiel, thank you so much for the sub. I'm gonna go back and read all that I missed. Champ, thank you so much for the resub. Midnight Freddy, thank you for the follow. Dermathiel, thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs. One from earlier, one from now. Saren, thank you for the follow. Zero Ace, thank you for the follow. Karn the Betrayer, thank you for the follow. Mellow Marrow, thank you for the follow. Heavenology, thank you for the follow. And Hiromi, thank you so much for the follow. I like your voice. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we'll be doing some more ASMR streams in the future. But for now, I think... Oh! Chaos Crew, thank you so much for the 300 bits. I think for now, I want to go raid Emiko over at Niwatori TV. She's playing some marbles, so we're gonna go raid Emiko. I'm gonna go get the raid set up. Don't forget to lower your volume before the raid starts, folks. Yes. If you guys have the emotes, copy and paste that message that Carroll has put in. ASM raid. If you don't have the emotes, there's a heart. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So, thank you guys for the stream today. I had a lot of fun. Bye, everybody. Bye.